Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm Kalikaiz. Today I'm going to be talking about the Magic Online metagame. We like to look at the Pauper Leagues and see what is performing, what are the different types of things that people are adding to their decks to maybe make them a little bit better or a little bit different. And then the last thing that I want to take a look at is all the spicy decks of the week, trying to go from maybe like the top 5 spice, really check out some things that are really novel that people are exploring. So before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about the different decks or whether or not you like this kind of video. Also, check out patreon.com/Kalikaiz, which is where I have sideboard guides for all the decks that I like to play. We also have the YouTube membership section. So if you hop into that for $3 a month, you can just get all your videos early when I post them. We're working on being at least a week ahead. You know, sometimes I'm a little bit busy, but I'm doing my best. We're working hard. Right now in the bank, I have a really sweet High Tide Familiars. And then this one comes out probably like an hour beforehand, so you might see that early if you are a YouTube member. Okay, I'll stop harping on it. So what happened in the metagame? So last week, it was the 12th through the 18th. Mono Blue Terror and Mono Red Madness had the exact same number of trophies. But that number of trophies was 21 each in an entire week. We had 186 trophies over the past week, which was huge. The week before that was 168. The week before that, it was 140, and then 140 again in the previous week. So something is going on where people really want to play Pauper. I think maybe it has to do with Paupergeddon coming up, but I'm not entirely sure. Otherwise, the metagame looks pretty balanced. We have Terror, Mono Red Madness, then Spy Combo at 9%. Demir Fairies is making a huge resurgence here. I think somebody trophied with it or managed to 5-0. I mean, did well in a challenge, and then people are picking it up. I know pilots such as Barf and Bombage are working on it. Then we have a decent chunk of elves. John Wildfire down here, Rally Red, really pushed down to the bottom. So people are much higher on Mono Red Madness than Rally Red right now. We have some Gardens, Gruul Ramp, Boros Synth. High Tide only 2%. I guess the challenge results really do impact the league metagame because we had a week of tons of High Tides. That was after High Tide did well on challenges. We had a week of no High Tides, didn't do well on challenges. We'll see how it pans out over the period of time. And that's pretty much the metagame. So let's go ahead and check out some interesting lists. The first one here is an Izzet Terror. I haven't talked about Izzet Terror in a while. I just recorded a sweet blue-red control deck that came out yesterday. If you're interested, if you haven't seen it, it was really awesome. But this Izzet Terror is a blue-red control deck that looks to win the game with Tolarian Terror eventually. And it has Azure Fleet Admiral and Commodore as a way of making a ton of card advantage once you actually control the game. They have 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, and then the removal spells are 4 Scred and 4 Galvanic Discharge, which Galvanic Discharge can be pretty good if you can like use it for a small amount and then take out something big later. So if you take out a 1-drop or a 1-power creature, you can now use your second one to take out something that's 5 power. So maybe like kill a Delver and then kill a Terror. Next deck is Jeskai Synth. I just thought this was pretty cool. I tried playing Jeskai Synth and it was a little clunky, but this player has changed it up a little bit. They have 10 creatures that pick up stuff. So 4 Glenhawk, 4 Skyfisher, and 2 Dreamstalker, which is 1 in a blue to pick up a permanent. It's also got a big butt for the ground blocking, and then 3 Seeker the Way as life gain. They also have 2 Limbus in the main deck as more life gains, and then they have 4 Galvanic Blast. The rest of their spells for removal are Torch the Tower and Unholy Heat, which I guess you can turn on Delirium pretty well, so that Unholy Heat would be an easy way to take out a Terror. Torch the Tower, you can bargain as you cast it to exile a creature, and that means you can exile a Sneaky Snacker forever, which is also quite good. And you can bargain away your Cryogen Relic. You can bargain away your Lembus, and it goes back in the deck. And then the Synthesizer here is pretty awesome as well. They have no main deck Graveyard Hate, but 4 Journey to Nowheres. You can also bargain the Journey to Nowhere. So if you play the Journey to Nowhere, put it on the battlefield, it's got the trigger, you can bargain it away to kill something else, and then exile something forever. They have 2 Thraben Charms in the sideboard for their Graveyard Hate. Doesn't look like anything else too crazy. I'd be surprised. So, oh yes, we see 4 Navigator's Compass, 4 Krugland Shaman, bunch of red blasts, a few blue blasts. It seems well set up against the metagame. The next deck, this is Boros Bully from CK Eiling, or C, maybe like Ceiling with a K in the middle of it. This is a pretty stock Boros Bully, to be honest, but the thing is, I actually think it's really well positioned. It's good against burn. It's got Prismatic Strands in the main deck. It's got Lunarch Veteran and Novice Inspect. Lunarch Veteran to gain a bunch of life, and that combo can be very good. The other thing is, it's got Thrilling Discovery plus Faithless Looting. I actually played a list almost exactly like this, but was playing Sneaky Snacker, and it was really fun. That's deep in my channel. I'll try to link it. Now I wanted to check out a couple of Gardens variants. So if you're familiar, Black-Green Gardens plays basically the Colony Garden and Dispute package with the Viscerous Insight Fanatical Offering, and then just tries to win the game with Crypt Rats, Thorn and Black Rose, and like a Avenging Hunter. This list is playing 4 Writhing Chrysalis and allowing you to splash red for that. Also, red can give you Red Blast in the sideboard, which can potentially help versus the High Tide deck. So yeah, 3 Duress, 3 Red Blast versus them. And otherwise, it's pretty normal, but it's a cool variant. Another variant of Gardens is this Black-Green Food Pestilence Gardens. It's got 3 Pestilence as basically your win con combined with Cauldron Familiar. And then they have a ton of hand hate in this main deck with Temporal Intervention as a 4 of, and then also Last Rites. They have essentially 6 cast downs, so 4 cast down plus 2 Go for the Throat, destroy target non-artifact creature. And then 8 tons of card draw, tons of life gain. I tried playing into this deck with the Mono Red Madness, and I always feel very, very down. Like, I feel beat up by all their foods. They've got Nutrient Block, the Cauldron Familiar, Gaining Life, the Lembas. I'm sure people have won with the Madness deck, but it is an uphill battle. So if you're interested in beating red with a black control deck, I think I would pick this one. The next deck, we have Gruul Ram from BNP. This person loves Stompy decks. We've seen them trophy with a lot of different Stompy adjacent things. The cool thing about this list specifically is that they're playing 4 Horrific Assault. It's a green mana for target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control, and if you control an Eldrazi, you gain 3 life. What's nice about that is you are going to be gaining 3 life very often. You've got Eldrazi, more Eldrazi, more Eldrazi, and I just thought it was cool that they put that in the main deck over Ram Through. And that shows that they are valuing the life gain and valuing trying to stay alive versus the red decks. The next deck is Demir Fairies. I talked about this earlier. Demir Fairies are making a major resurgence. It looks like on the 21st, which was a couple days ago, there was 4 Demir Fairies trophies. A couple of Demir, just lots happening. On a challenge we had, trying to see if there was a major challenge where it did well, but okay, so on the 19th, which was at the end of this week, Beso de Gaia managed to take 2nd place with Fairies. This is just kind of similar to the Mono Blue. You've got your turn 1 Fairy Seer, turn 2 Ninja with Ninja the Deep Hours, but they only have a few ninjas. 3 Ninja the Deep Hours, 1 Hacker, and then a Mukotai Ambusher to gain life potentially. The strength of this deck comes from the free removal with Snuff Out, and then the fact that they have Thorn and the Black Rose as a Monarch, which you can just try to leverage for just inevitability. This is a Jeskai Ephemerate, so Jace MTG managed to trophy 2 times on the 12th, so double trophy on that day with Jeskai Ephemerate. It's not too much different than normal Jeskai. They have Union of the Third Path as a main deck life gain spell. A bunch of early blockers with Augur of Bolas. They're only playing 2 Muldrifter, which is interesting. And then they have Ride's End, which is a card that nobody was really playing. It's a 4 and a white for exile target creature or vehicle, but it costs 3 less if it targets a tapped permanent. There's no vehicles that I know of that are being played in Pauper. So this is 2 mana to exile a tapped permanent, which is very good versus Sneaky Snacker, and can be good versus stuff like Tolarian Terror, etc. So exile is strong enough that it's like a really, really bad path to exile. I saw Chaotic MTG being the first person to try this out, and I don't know if that's the case, but This JSMDG seems to be picking that up as well. Here I have a Madness Burn from Vikazin. Now this player I thought was interesting on their Madness Burn list. They're not playing any number of Voldaren Epicure. Instead they're playing only 7 ping creatures with 4 Kessig, 3 Gutter Snipe, and then the 4 Snackers, of course. They're trying to lean into direct damage. So they have 4 Chain Lightning, and then the 12 draw spells with Grab the Prize, Highway Robbery. So I don't know if this is like the best path forward. I've tried out something like this before, but it does maybe set you up pretty well against decks that are playing creatures where Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt could be good. And they've also slotted an Rakdos Carnarium over the 18th mountain as an additional land drop, a pseudo 19th land. Here's a mono red as well. This is Rally Red from Al Tart. And what they did was they slotted in a couple of Mass Meowers. I don't see anything too crazy other than that. They are playing the Reckless Abandon, so they have 4 Galvanic, 4 Bolt, 3 Reckless Abandon, a lot of direct damage, no Fire Blast in their deck. And then Mind Collapse apparently for terrors, or like, is this a sort? Yeah, it's an instant. But you can sacrifice a mountain rather than hard cast it. Unfortunately, you can't do that on your opponent's turn. You can take out a terror, and then you can pay the mana. I don't have anything else to note about that deck. Here's a Spy combo. So last time I showed the Spy combo from Alessandro Piercini, who was playing 4 Avenging Hunter and some number of Writhing Chrysalis. This is the mono green version of that deck, and he's playing 4 Elves of Deep Shadow and 4 Quirion Ranger. So really coming out the gate faster here. The Quirion Ranger allowing you to untap your battlement and reuse it to make a ton of mana. And then maybe that actually powers out the Avenging Hunter faster and making your mid-range plan even better. We're starting to get halfway up the list, so we're approaching spiciness territory. This is a Boros synth from Master 93. We've seen this before a little bit. They're playing the Melded Moxite to pitch the Sneaky Snacker. They also have Rafine's Informant to pitch the Sneaky Snacker. That makes sense. People weren't playing that many pitches previously. A little bit of alliteration there. Here's another sort of Boros synth deck, but they're playing Gates. It's almost the exact same thing, except they have Cryogen Relic too. This one was not playing Cryogen Relic. So here we have Cryogen Relic and Sneaky Snacker. Then they can use the Gates to power up their Sacred Cat for a lot of life gain. Another Madness Burn. This one, let's see, what's interesting about this? So this is the stock list, except they took 3 and 3 on the Gutter Snipe and went 4 and 2. And this has been the point of contention I've seen from a lot of different lists. Is like, what exactly are you doing here? I think Fire Blast lets you combo out better, but obviously it only works on the finishing turn, and then Gutter Snipe lets you just play a value game better. I think if you were facing a non-interactive format where people had a lot of life gain but aren't going to kill your creatures, then this list could be the right way to go. They're playing 7 Pyros, 3 Relics, 3 Cast into the Fire, and only 2 Searing Blaze. Like, I don't think that Cast into the Fire is any good in the deck, but they chose to play it. You could potentially take out some bridges with that. Yeah, we're getting there. This is now spiciness territory entered. We have a Dimir control from FGC. This deck just relies on killing everything and then using your value. So you have Kenku Artificer to make your bridges into 3/3s. Refurbished Familiar is a beating. You even have Ghostly Flicker to flicker your Refurbished Familiar or your Cryogen Relic or your Tithing Blade. They have Nutrient Block as a food to gain some life. Grim Bauble. Yeah, that's a cool deck. Metallic Rebuke. It's got like counter spells, removal spells. This person's choosing not to play the Annul package. Or, it's not Annul. There's a 1 blue card for blue. I can't think of it right now. Somebody will comment what the single blue is. Yep, I can't figure it out. That's okay, I'm moving on. Next is So-Called Elves from Apis 72, but it's not elves, it is walls. They took the same setup as the Spy combo decks, where they're playing the Axebanes, but they're also bringing in Priest of Titania. And in order to do that, they're playing a bunch of early walls, like Llanowar Elves. Leafcaller is a Snake Shaman, so not an elf. Quirion Ranger. Is Beast Rider Vanguard an elf? It is not. So they kind of incorporated more big mana into their deck to maybe go a little bit faster. This is a brand new kind of brew from Very Red Man. They mashed together Rally Red and also the Madness Burn deck. So I put it in as Madness Burn in my list, but it's kind of both. They are playing the Sneaky Snacker, a lot of grab the prize, highway robbery, faithless looting, making sure the snacker is going to get better, but then also going low to the ground with Percussionist, Ginger Brute, Tomb Raider, Mass Meower, and Epicure. So it's a go wide sort of Madness Burn style deck with a Bushwhacker combo finish. They said that this league was very strong and they finished a trophy the very first time that they brewed this. So this was their original version. I don't know if they have actually gotten any further from that. This next one is a Naya Gates from Ha Ha Ha. I know that this player has been working on Naya Gates a lot. Writhing Chrysalis really holds the fort. And then you can use something like Armadillo Cloak on your Guardian of the Guild Pact, which is such a sick combo. Your Guardian of the Guild Pact can't be targeted or interacted with from anything monocolored, and Armadillo Cloak is not monocolored, so you can suit it up and then bash in using Basilisk Gate to make it a huge attacker. Love it. Next one. This is very similar to all of the other Boros synths, but then it's also similar to Kagates. You look at it, you're like, what is going on here? We have the Kagates mana base, we have Sacred Cat, but then all of a sudden we have Glinhawk and Core Skyfisher. We have 4 Counterspell, 3 Prismatic Strands, and then you see Cryogen Relic as a way to get value out of your pick things up and put them down stuff. Carrot Cake, I guess, is another food that you can make creatures. I'm not sure if Carrot Cake is better than Lembas here, but it does give you some stuff to suit up with your Basilisk Gate. And then their removal spells are Journey to Nowhere and Unable to Scream. And they've got the Modern Age. So your value creatures are going to be able to pick up, what, these cards? But also Core Skyfisher could pick up the Modern Age and replay it. This is really kind of sweet. It's just Kagate, but value Kagate. Versus trying to play a game with like Brainstorm and Squadron Hawk. You're just brute forcing it with Cryogen Relic. Wow. The second place most spicy list was Serpentine Curve. So it's a blue-red Snake Fling deck. I just posted this yesterday. And you're looking to control the game, eventually cast a giant Serpentine Curve. This snake comes into play. Well, I call it a snake. It's a fractal creature token. It comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of instant and sorceries you own in exile and your graveyard. So it's slightly better than Seize the Storm here because it's always a static power and toughness. And if your graveyard gets exiled, it's no big deal. There is a little bit of a non-bow in the deck where we have the Frantic Inventory plus Relic of Progenitus in the sideboard. That was a little bit risky. And they have a Singleton Fling to throw the snake at your opponent. Most of the time, we didn't throw the snake, we just smashed in or controlled the game until our opponent quit, which was another win condition. Now, the spiciest deck of the week was from Against, who is Alexander Weber, a Brazilian PFP member, and they brewed and trophied with a mono red Ponza deck. I would prefer if you don't play this into me, but I did face it once with a blue deck and was able to Hydroblast them out of the game. That is a risk of a mono blue deck. This is looking to accelerate with Rite of Flame and Simian Spirit Guide into a lot of 3 mana land destruction, Molten Rain, Pillage, and Stone Rain. They have a Singleton Relic in the main deck, and then they're just going to ride out the game off of a Crimson Fleet Commodore or Bash in for lethal eventually with a Stormstreak Feral. They even have Suplex in the main deck, which is land destruction versus bridges decks. They have six suplexes with 4 suplex and 2 cast into the fire. It's just like a straight up hate deck. I'd be interested to see if anybody has tried this and if they had a good experience. Maybe I'll try this one out for a video too. Let me know what you thought about this run through of all the different leagues in the last week. Let me know if there was anything I missed or you think was also pretty spicy. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.